So, you're interested in New World. You're probably going to be buying the game, or you already have. Let me save you some time and money and tell you about how this fucking game is a pile of shit, along with the developers, the community manager, and the game itself. Alright, let's do that. So, let me tell you a little bit about my history with New World. My brief history. I've been in the alpha for the past few months, and I made videos, which I've now deleted, because they were originally in support of the game. So, the game, as you all know, started off as an open world PvP, full PvP MMO with full loot. Now, I like those type of games, right? But I will agree with Amazon Game Studios' point that full loot was a little too much. I disagree with the entire removal of open world PvP. Now, some of you might say, hey, wait a minute, you can flag for PvP. I'll get to that. I'll get to that topic, okay? But because it's not happening. So let me bring you down a path of my testing history with the game. I played the game like crazy, put in a lot of hours with it, and I was super active on the alpha forums, saying, hey, these are the issues with this game. It's got to be fixed before launch. There's real serious issues. Then New World was delayed, and I was like, good. That's a good thing to do. That delay was needed. Little did I know that delay would be used to push the game further from a playable state, further from actually being something that could be a powerhouse in the MMO genre. So in front of you right now is a post. I posted this on my own guild site. This is my own post, not anything that has to be under NDA, because this is publicly stated information. This is a feature that is publicly stated. I'm going to read this to you. Ready? Well, New World is a fucking joke. That is the topic title for the topic on my site only. This topic was originally called The Future Failure of New World, is what the topic was called. The community manager changed the topic title from The Future Failure of New World to The Future of New World. So that was the first red flag, and I was like, kind of childish, okay, but I let it sit for a while. Then I changed it back myself. But okay, let me start by saying I love what New World can become. I want to see this game succeed, and I could truly see myself being a part of this community for years to come. Let's proceed to the feedback. The biggest issue with New World is not a lack of content or its balance issues. It's the total mishandling of companies and guilds, territory ownership, and the mass focus on treating everyone equally. Currently, the entire game revolves around pandering to the casual player base, the players that don't want to put forth the same effort as a hardcore guild, yet want to be included in everything a hardcore guild accomplishes. The current siege system chooses a player at random to lead a siege, so smaller guilds also have a chance to own a keep. Why? Why are smaller guilds and those less dedicated to building a community, you only need 50, being prioritized over the dedicated guilds that value community over smaller groups? Now, before someone states they aren't being prioritized, oh no? Well, how about the fact that with the newly announced corrupted invasions, players who own and build their fort get 20%. That's right, 20% of the defending players. That's 10 out of 50 participating players. How can you possibly justify having the force that builds the fort and hosts the event be belittled to a minor participant in the battle that determines the fate of their own territory? The amount of potential trolling that 40 random players could bring forth is something I cannot possibly look past. I went over the specific point further in my recent video here. I now since removed that video. Blah, it's gone. The fact that this was even a decision to begin with fills me with worry. It seems Amazon's vision for the zone ownership system leads players to believe they actually own the zone, when in reality there are multiple systems that give your faction more control of the territory you control than you have yourself. Considering random players have 80% of the force used to defend it, they literally can choose whether you successfully defend your fort or not. I can absolutely guarantee you that the system will be trolled to the ends of the earth, and the developer team pretty much stated so here. Quote, But if you don't like how the company is governing a particular territory, you can always choose not to help them defend. So not only can a faction refuse to help you, they can also stop you from having your own company assist you. This already happened. It already happened like crazy. It is already plaguing the game. And they have no fucking plans to change this at all. They're happy with how it's working. They even praised it. They praised how the system is functioning. They patted themselves on the back. What a great design we have, where 40 fucking random assholes can get into an invasion that a dedicated guild is trying to succeed in. It's already being trolled out the ass. If your faction doesn't want you to own a fort, they could just have the corrupted join the corrupted invasion, hold one of the 40 slots, and refuse to participate, hoping you fail, which will reduce your chances at successfully defending your fort in a future PvP siege. For those of you that don't know, if you fail at the corrupted invasion, it greatly reduces the rank, tier, whatever terminology is used there, of the defenses, of the crafting benches, all that stuff. So it screws you for the future PvP sieges, which, if you fail at the PvP siege, you lose your territory. It's gone. So this is a massive impact on your future PvP. Still not convinced that this game is designed to around treating everyone equally? If a smaller company is selected as the vanguard for the war, they can build out their forces with the player that volunteers to fight on their side. So a full-sized army is always possible, even for a company with a single player in it. Just to clarify, this is the feature that determines who is going to control the territory. So a guild or company with a single player can get the vanguard, can be the vanguard, the owner of the leader of the PvP battle that's about to occur. So you might have 100 people trying to get in, maybe 50 of them are in large companies, they got a full company and they're dedicated to the game, they're super into the game, trying to be the best they can be and take over territory. And then one random guy comes, this sounds like it would be fun. Click, I got Vanguard, sweet. Oh, I now own the territory. A dude with one player in the company. Why would a company that has done next to nothing in the game and made no effort to grow or truly become a fighting force receive the opportunity to obtain the most prestigious prize that New World has to offer? This is literally the exact design philosophy behind the recent WoW expansions, which resulted in their complete and utter failure. I had a link here, supporting evidence that linked to the WoW subscription numbers. That's all it was. MMO developers have been making the same mistake time and time again. Casual players that play a couple of hours a day are receiving the same rewards or damn near close to it as the players that play 18 hours plus a day. So here's my question to you. Do casual players even expect the same rewards? I would argue that they don't. They understand that more dedicated players would have more. Looking at a player-owned fort and knowing that the owning company is truly badass and dedicated to the game is understood by casual players. Casual players don't expect to be handed everything. If a player didn't have time to level up to a max level, were they instantly provided with an additional 20 levels just to help them? No. So why are the design decisions in this game that revolve around handing free territories to players that aren't striving for that? A single player owning a territory, that's an absolute laughable philosophy to design a game around. I haven't even touched on the fact that having a 50-player company cap is horrendous game design. As if it's not bad enough, there is nearly no content in the game that supports over 10 players beyond an occasional PvP siege on a territory that the company already owns. Why would a large gaming guild... I'm going to backtrack 1 second. An occasional PvP siege on a territory the company already owns. Already owns. I chose those words carefully. When you try to join a siege to attack a territory you don't own, random people are getting pulled in that with you. And if you're not the vanguard, you can't choose who those people are. And you're also not going to own the territory at the end of the day. So the only content in the game that supports over 10 players of your players is a PvP siege defense on territory you already own. That is it. That is it. Yes, there is the siege, an attacking siege that supports over 10 players, but it's not 10 players of your guild, of your company. That's it. So moving on. Why would a large gaming guild play New World when every single design decision goes against you? Why strive to be the best when when just anyone can obtain the best there is to offer in New World. You may want to pander to what you consider the largest audience. Just remember that the casual player base is always the first to leave a game and jump to the next one, while the hardcore players stay if you support their play style. Right, Blizzard? Players love having a purpose and a feeling of accomplishment when investing time into an MMO. This quickly fades when rewards are handed to players that do next to nothing to earn it. It kills it for the casual players who received it and the hardcore players who have busted their asses to earn their equivalent rewards. Why even try? Why dedicate yourself to this MMO? This usually ends in players leaving the game. I love the gameplay of New World, but as a player with over 20 years in the MMO world and a consultant on multiple MMO projects, I can say for sure that this game is on track for failure within months of release if a different design decision or design philosophy is not adopted. Do the right thing, Amazon. Use your final months prior to launch and resolve these absolutely devastating design decisions. That was my feedback post about 3 or 4 months ago. I posted that. About 3 months ago, give or take. You know what the response was? It was a massive hot thread, super amount of views, the highest amount of views on the forums, period, on the alpha forums. The most views, I think the second most replies. Very close to the most replies. And the topic was very, very, or the discussion was great. It was a good amount of discussion back and forth, good feedback here of what people think, how things should be adjusted. Do you know what their response was? Now, keep in mind, the discussion was related to this, about the casual design decisions. Nobody, not a single response in like the 150 plus replies was about adding full loot PvP back to the game. That is not my stance. I don't even think that belongs in the game. I don't think this game is good or right for full loot PvP. It's not. I've played Darkfall. I've loved those type of MMOs. This is not right for this game. Full loot PvP. It's not. It's not right. No one was making that argument. What is his response? This thread is definitely not helpful or constructive at this point. I honestly can't believe I'm saying this to folks, but New World has changed design direction since the previous phases of alpha testing. We understand that these changes won't appeal to some folks, but hopefully there are things about the game you still enjoy. We will not be reverting back to those changes, and we ask that you please provide feedback on the version of the game you can play today. Please provide your personal feedback and do not speak on behalf of others, gaming audiences, or the gaming industry as a whole. In other words, don't fucking tell us that the gaming industry has done this before and it failed. Don't fucking tell us that. Don't tell us that people dislike this. Don't fucking do that. Don't provide sources, which I did throughout the thread. Don't provide sources to back up your claims. Don't do that. Just speak on your own behalf. Okay. Nowhere in the fucking thread did anyone say, hey, go back to what you had before. No one. Not a fucking person. Even people that were against me, which, spoiler alert, 90% of the replies were in support of this, saying, what the fuck are you guys doing? What I did is, and he locks the thread. I made a new thread and say, they just locked the thread claiming we were asking for the game to be reverted back to full loot. Oops, typo. Loot PvP. You don't want to hear that this game is going to be a flaming pile of crap. You don't want anyone providing feedback that goes against your broken design decisions, and you don't have an open mind when it comes to the feedback that we are busting our ass to provide for free. I'm done. Good luck with this crap. And he bans me from the forums for like 2 months. Motherfucker, make it a permanent ban. I am never playing your game. In fact, the hour this happened, there were a massive amount of refunds just from my guild alone that were watching your shit. In fact, refunded the fucking game, and you lost 20 copies in an hour, 20 refunds in an hour. My entire guild, dedicated guild members, said, fuck this, I'm out. We're looking at a game called Fractured. Don't look at it if you want. That's not the topic. I'm going to move on. Ready? Let me tell you about some of the more broken design decisions. And again, this is not covered by NDA. This is not an NDA covered thing. So go ahead and try to take down my fucking video. Go ahead. This is not under NDA. They added that post. I'll pull it up here so I don't butcher the whatever they called it. I can't even find it. Oh, this one. The Spriggan. Do you know what this is? This is a way to obtain the best loot in the game. And you might be saying, cool, fun. It's 6 players. The best loot in the game is obtained through 6-player content. Now, this content requires a key to get into. Here, want another go at besting the Spriggan? You'll need to track down another Spriggan key. Cool. You literally grind the same mobs for hours and hours and hours. Go in this arena, kill this guy, and chance to get the loot you wanted. You didn't get it. You go out and farm Spriggan key for hours and hours and go back in there and do it again. It nullifies crafting. There's no reason to do crafting. You get the best gear from this. There's no reason to participate in that, in actually trying to craft. Yeah, they might fix this, might balance this, but this is what this game is becoming. This is instance content. This started off as a sandbox MMO with full loot PvP. They removed the full loot PvP. They added a bunch of instances and removed the sandbox. So if you want WoW with fucking shitty combat, this is the game for you. You want next to no reason to ever PvP, this is the game for you. And for those of you that were like, oh, you can flag up for PvP whenever you want. There's great incentives on flagging for PvP. Bullshit. There's nearly no incentives. In fact, the 10% experience gain you get for flagging for fucking PvP, not only is it negligible, but if you get ganked once, you're better off having the fucking thing off. You're better off turning it off and not even being flagged for PvP. While you're out there gathering your shit, you're gonna get ganked. There's no reason to even flag. You want to jump around the world super quick? You suicide on purpose and respawn back in your city. Like the fucking game, it's so fucking broken. And you know what? You can tell the developers behind this game, they're not MMO devs. They're not. They're video game developers. They are game developers. They are not MMO developers, and they don't see the fucking difference. They don't understand it. They're not willing to take feedback. The game's broken as fuck. When you put in major content that has no reason to participate in other than, and I quote, people will participate in this content because they enjoy participating in the content, not because there's something to gain or nothing to gain from the content, something along those lines. So in other words, they're defending that if content has nearly nothing to gain from it, like PvP, there's no reason to really participate in it. People will still do it because it's enjoyable. Maybe a little bit, but when you take a major feature, we're not talking about pet battles that WoW added. That's not a major feature. I don't know. There's not a major feature in the game, pet battles. It's a little side thing. You can be like, oh, there's no purpose to it, but it's okay. It's a fucking mini game. But PvP is a fucking major feature of a game. It's what pulls people into the game, or in this case, pushes people the fuck away. So fuck you, Amazon. You fucked your whole game up. I ain't touching your fucking game. And anyone that has any plans to play this piece of shit, I highly recommend you refund this shit. It is a fucking garbage coming out the gate. Refund it now while you have the chance. It's a piece of shit. And I quote, the game is incredibly boring after the honeymoon phase. I don't know who said that, but God bless you, because that saying, the honeymoon phase, I love it. I fucking love it, because I've been searching for a term for this for the longest time, where you get in a game and it's like super fun because it's brand new and it's like, wow, there's so much to explore. There's so much to learn about this game. It's super fun, right? And then it's like a relationship. You start dating someone and it's great, fantastic. 6 months down the line, a year down the line, it starts to like, okay, this gets a little old and the flaws start to weigh more on it, right? That's this game. That is this game to the fucking T. You get it, like, wow, combat's fun. It's enjoyable. What a great time. And then you start really getting into the worrying about your character and progression and PvP and territory ownership and endgame, and you're like, the fuck is this? There's no direction. You know what? I won't say there's no direction in Amazon's fucking New World. I'll say there's 50,000 directions, and everything's pulling out against each other like they don't know what the fuck they're doing. They didn't. They fired one of their lead devs. They fucking changed the PvP system months before the fucking game launches. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. I'm telling you right now, this game's a fucking utter piece of shit. It is piled with diarrhea on top of it, diarrhea, and this fucking thing is smothered in it. This is a piece of shit game. This is horrible. In fact, with Amazon's latest release, what was it, like Crucible or some shit? Amazon Crucible? Yeah. That's right. That game's a pile of shit. And if that what this game's gonna be, run. Take your money and run. Now I know this was a 20-minute video. I can go longer, but I know you guys aren't going to watch it if I make this too long, so I'm going to stop this here. If you have any questions, concerns about the game, and you'd like to fucking discuss it, please let me know. Feel free to comment, like, dislike, subscribe, or unsubscribe. I really don't give a flying fuck. I just want to make a video to save you guys. Save you guys your 50 bucks, whatever you paid on the game, 40 or 50 bucks, depending on the package or the limited edition, whatever the fuck it is. I want to save you guys money, and most importantly, more important to me than money, my time. I put so much time and effort into this to try to help them fucking fix this game and push it in the right direction, and they fucking spit on me. They slap me in the face after like putting hundreds of hours, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours into feedback and testing and all that shit. They slap me in the fucking face. So you know what? Here's one back to you. I hope this hurts a little bit more. So yeah, have a good rest of your day, night, morning, whatever the fuck it is. If you ever want to talk, hit me up. I'm always happy to meet up in Discord and laugh at this game.